Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters on MyRDC. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. It's been shown that high school student athletes enjoy many benefits of playing sports, from increased self-confidence and leadership skills to earning higher salaries down the line. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to ensure that sports are available with the proper oversight to the hundreds of members of schools across the state. And joining me now is Q Tucker, the Commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I don't think there's really much more important. I mean, education's great, but for a kid growing up, any kid, being involved in athletics, I think it's such an important part of any person's life. Would you agree?
I would agree with that. In fact, one of the things that we like to say is that we have the opportunity, perhaps maybe the last opportunity, to really introduce education-based athletics, particularly for 9th through 12th graders.
Now, I'm sure you've seen this with kids who have been in programs, the difference it makes for someone starting off, and then especially with kids who might not have found their way yet, what athletics can do.
Well, that's right. And of course, you know, many people think that to participate in athletics in the high schools it's a right. Obviously, it's a right to be able to go to high school or to go to public school in North Carolina. But to participate in athletics is really a privilege. And so for those students who choose to exercise that option, exercise the opportunity that they have to participate in athletics, we believe then that it just really starts to set them up for when they finally graduate. Some perhaps will be fortunate enough to go on to college and play collegiately, but many more than those will go out into the workforce. Many of them will go to college and not play athletics, but ultimately they will be what we know as the citizens who are out there doing those jobs and performing the responsibilities that we are so dependent on.
There's a lot you can learn from athletics. And let me ask you, how many sports are we talking about here at school?
Well, at the High School Athletic Association, we offer 17 different sports. That's for men and women, or boys and girls, however you choose to say that. And by the time it's all said and done, at the conclusion of a year, we will have crowned about 98 champions. That's looking at the fact that we crowned 8 champions in football, for example.
Well, you know, the thing about this, if you're a parent, I think a lot of times people think, well, you know, there's basketball and football, but there are so many different sports now for kids, more so than when I went to school,
well,
that they can get involved in.
That's correct. I mean, you know, we offer now lacrosse for men and women, we have soccer for men and women, we have swimming, we have men's and women's tennis, cross country, indoor track during the winter, we have outdoor track during our spring season. Of course, you have your traditionals, football, basketball. So it does run the gamut, and there are many, many opportunities. Now, we don't offer cheerleading as a sport per se, but we govern cheerleading in the state as an activity. So you even throw in the cheerleading groups, and so we have opportunities for most of the students who walk in and out of those high school doors across our state.
Well, and you were talking about some of the things, because most are not going to make it to the NBA or the NFL. It's just not going to happen. But the lessons that are taught just by participating are great. And one of the focuses you have now is on sportsmanship. How does that work, and I mean, why is that such a big deal?
Well, obviously it's about the behavior. When you think about sportsmanship, being a good sport, it's about how you behave towards your opponent, how you behave even towards your own teammates. And all we have to do is just look around in society in general, and the way there is such a lack of respect for one another, a lack of just being courteous to people. And so we chose this year, based on just some research that we've done in terms of the behavior of our students, the behavior even of administrators, the behavior of fans in general, including parents. We decided that we really need to emphasize sportsmanship because, as you said, it's one of those areas where we can have an impact, where we can influence. So we talk about integrity, we talk about honesty and all of those things, but we also think that it's important to treat people really the way you want to be treated. And so this year we actually have a tagline that we're using, and it's called Sportsmanship. Together we make the right call, and that emphasis on together, because as I mentioned, it's not just about the players themselves, but it's about the coaches, it's about administrators, it's about the officials who are there to try to keep order and make sure that the rules are followed. So all of that comes together, and we're really trying to emphasize that as we go throughout this year.
More people need to play sports, don't you think?
It would be
Considering
great.
the environment today?
Well, exactly right. And you know, many times in the field of education, we talk about athletics and as we've talked about those lessons, but it's also that opportunity to perhaps keep a student in school. It's perhaps a great dropout prevention when you really think about it, because many students, now you can talk to people who perhaps are leading companies, some of those Fortune 500 companies, presidents, executives will tell you that they participated in athletics, that they participated maybe even other fine arts such as band and chorus, that's how they were able to rise to the level where they are today. So that if we could get some more of our young people participating in sports, particularly at the high school level, then perhaps we have a chance to influence that behavior so that as they move out into the world as citizens, then maybe we'll be much more civil, maybe we'll be much more courteous and respectful of each other.
Well, and I'll tell you what, when we come back, I'd like to talk some more about this, the impact of high school sports. You were talking about kids, but just on a community. I mean, it's big time stuff. And no matter where you go in this country, but it's just, you know, in North Carolina, it is, isn't it?
Yes,
people
it is.
embrace it.
That's right.
So Q Tucker, which is an awesome name, we'll have to get into why you're named Q, but please stay with us and don't you go anywhere either.